KwaZulu-Natal has long been described as the epicenter of political violence in South Africa. For decades, allegations of politically motivated killings have haunted this province, leaving families without justice and communities living in fear. But in July 2025, a shocking revelation rocked the nation. The KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, revealed that 121 key dockets, cases tied directly to political killings, had been removed from the province's specialist task team. And now, after months of controversy, those dockets have been returned to the very unit that was created to investigate these killings. But the big questions remain. Why were they taken away in the first place? Who ordered it? And what does their return mean for justice in KwaZulu-Natal? Let's unpack this explosive story in detail. To understand the importance of this development, we need to step back. The KZN Political Killings Task Team was established in 2018 after a series of brutal assassinations targeting politicians, local councillors, and even whistleblowers. The killings were so frequent that they began to be called a killing field crisis in South Africa's democracy. This task team was supposed to operate with independence and urgency, investigating and prosecuting those behind the murders, and by all accounts, the unit was making progress, slow but steady. That's why what happened in July 2025 sent shockwaves through the country. But then, in July 2025, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi stood before the media and dropped a political bombshell. He revealed that 121 dockets, linked to political killings, had been removed from the task team's hands. Instead, they were handed over to the Office of the Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, General Shadrack Sibiya. Now here's where it gets controversial. Mkhwanazi insisted that this was not standard procedure. He suggested that this wasn't about efficiency, it was about interference. He claimed that the move was potentially orchestrated by then Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, a political heavyweight in the ANC. Even more explosive, he accused General Sibiya of collaborating with Mchunu to deliberately undermine the task team. Think about that for a moment. The country's own police commissioner accusing top police leadership and a cabinet minister of derailing justice. It's no wonder this revelation sent shockwaves across South Africa. The removal of those dockets didn't just raise eyebrows, it raised serious concerns. First, these were not small cases. These were 121 files linked to political assassinations, murders that shook communities and destabilized local government. Second, if the dockets were out of the task team's control, it meant delays in investigations, possible tampering, or even burying of evidence. And third, it raised a fundamental question. Was the political killings task team being sabotaged from within? For families of victims, this revelation was heartbreaking. Many had already waited years for justice, only to now hear that their cases were caught up in political power struggles. After Mkhwanazi's revelations, civil society organizations, opposition parties, and even some within the ruling ANC began calling for answers. How could so many sensitive dockets be transferred out of the province without clear justification? Who authorized it? And was there political motivation behind it? The pressure mounted on both the police ministry and the national police leadership. The controversy became a national talking point, with many fearing it signaled deep political capture of law enforcement. And now, after weeks of mounting pressure, the news has finally broken. The 121 dockets have been returned to the KwaZulu-Natal Political Killings Task Team. This means that the cases are once again under the control of the specialized investigators who were originally tasked with handling them. For many South Africans, this return represents a small but critical victory for accountability. But the return of the dockets is only the beginning. The real questions remain. Will the task team be allowed to work without interference this time? Will those implicated in the removal of the dockets face accountability? And most importantly, will justice finally be served for the victims of these political assassinations? Civil society is watching closely. Families of victims are demanding real progress. And for the South African public, this is a test of whether the state is truly committed to fighting political violence, or whether the cycle of cover-ups and delays will continue. The return of the 121 dockets is a turning point, but it's not the end of the story. If anything, it has exposed just how fragile the fight against political violence is in KwaZulu-Natal and how much interference can undermine justice. We'll be keeping a close eye on these developments, and we'll continue to bring you updates as they unfold. So, what do you think? Will these cases finally see the light of day in court? Or is this just another chapter in South Africa's long struggle with political killings? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into South Africa's most pressing issues.